Okay, Barbarian from Palace Software in 1987, or Barbarian, as me and my mates used to call it in a somewhat juvenile way. We all know why we bought this, boys. It was followed by Barbarian 2 a year or so later, The Dungeon of Drax. Now, uh, all the sort of comment, etc., about the free poster and the scantily clad Maria Whittaker on the front hides the fact that it's actually a really, really good game. Um, it's a standard sort of one-on-one beat 'em up, single screen, and controlled by keyboard. I'm playing it on emulation. As ever, I'm playing the game and recording the commentary separately. The story is the usual old gumph that your beloved, the Maria Whittaker character, has somehow managed to get herself kidnapped by the evil Drax, who's dragged her off to his castle in her bikini. I mean, by that I mean she was in her bikini when she was dragged off to the castle, not that there is a castle in her bikini. And you presumably are her miffed boyfriend, and you decide that you're going to head off in your pants and your flip-flops across a variety of terrains until you reach the castle of Drax, where you go inside and you fight more people to the death, and ultimately fight Drax himself and try to win your girl back. Hopefully she shows her appreciation in some way, shape or form. Now, Barbarian came out on all the 8-bits, the major 8-bit systems anyway, the Commodore, the Amstrad, the Spectrum, and also I think it saw release on the Amiga and ST. I only have experience of the Commodore version. Sorry, not the Commodore version, the Spectrum version. As you can see, you know, on this first stage, this sort of, I don't know what it's supposed to be, like some kind of Arctic or volcanic plain. The Spectrum's problems with colour sort of come to the fore. It's a little bit difficult to make things out on this purpley pink background, but you can tell how well animated things are. The controls are a little bit limited when you compare them to other games of the fighting genre, such as IK Plus, Way of the Exploding Fists, iCombat, and others. And it's a bit clearer to see now we're in this this leafy glade, again just dressed in our pants. Some nice touches to this game. Down the side of the screen there, you've got the columns with the snakes coiling around them. Every time the player on, you know, from that side of the screen is hit, the snake will react. And those dots that you see above represent the health, and you win about either by reducing your opponent's health all the way down to 0, or by performing the signature move, the flying neck chop, and winning that way by gleefully removing your opponent's head from his shoulders. Now, I did manage it a couple of times in these videos. Even this amount of time afterwards, it's still hugely satisfying to pull that particular move off. And at the end of each bout, you know, the defeated combatant is dragged away by that sort of potato-faced little goblin who, you know, unfortunately there are quite a few of them about these days. Or if you manage to decapitate your opponent, then he boots the head across the screen and then drags the body off. Now, I go a bit badass here. I'm losing, as you can see. But I managed some kind of Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader final battle aboard the Death Star sort of anger episode. I basically went mental and just beat the shit out of him and then chopped his head off at the very end. Like that. Still so satisfying to pull that move off. It's brilliant. I love it. Still good to revisit now and then. Although, you know, it is nowadays somewhat limited. It was always a much better, as most of these games are, a much better 2-player game than a 1-player game. And you can understand that because the flying neck chop, the decapitation move, can win the game no matter how much health you have left or your opponent has. So you could have been battered for the best part of the bout, and your opponent could have all their energy, You could pull that move off and win, and when that happens, that's just so satisfying. Other than that, it just degenerates into a bout of you trying to pull the move off and your opponent ducking or blocking it all the time. It is really well animated. Looks very good. The sprites are nice and big, although on this purpley stage you can see what's going on, and you can sort of see that, you know, there's not too many issues with things. It's all the moves are quite nice, especially the little turnabout move when you both sort of swap sides of the screens when one of you leapfrogs the other one's roll attack. So this bout ends very soon, because I think he beats me. I'm not too sure. I can't remember on this one. Or did I get him? Oh, there we go. Just ended up in a roll fest. And I think I actually lost that one. Yeah, I did. Anyway, now one of the funny things, I can't have been the only person who owned Barbarian that ever did this. You selected 2 players, even though you were a Billy No Mates and you had no one else to play it with, and you just sat there and practiced decapitation. I used to have lots of fun doing that. I feel rather sad admitting that, actually. But never mind. Let's go in and just quickly select the keys for both players. Even though there's only going to be the one player, the me, I don't know why I've got to select keys for player 2. Player 2 is going to die. There is no player 2. He is going to be relieved of his head very swiftly. So let's just try it. You really should. It's sad, I know, but it's fun. It never grows old, I don't think that. Come on, little goblin. Or whatever you are, troll or whatever. And once more. So these 2 stages, the Arctic, this sort of stage, and the foresty stage, were on one side of the tape, and on the other side of the tape, which I'm going to look at now in a separate video, with the sort of internal shots from Drax's castle. And you can see Drax is quite happy once you've set yourself up. He's quite happy to just sit there like some kind of crack DJ and watch things go on. Without really, I don't know why Barbarian doesn't just run up the steps and stab him, you know. It would be a way to a quick win. But at the end, once you've fought a few of these bosses, etc., and baddies, sorry, not bosses, fought a few more of these guards, you eventually fight Drax himself, and I don't show that in this video because it gets a bit monotonous, just going, you know, trying to do bout after bout after bout to get to the end. He fires a load of fireballs at you, you do something to him, and oh, there goes another head, and you end up winning. And Maria, who's been captured, and she's still there in her bikini watching things, very bored, hopefully shows her gratitude, etc. She probably doesn't, you know what women are like. But anyway, that's Barbarian from Palace Software in 1987. I'm going to let this the remainder of this video play out. I hope you enjoy the videos. I know I do waffle a bit on them. In fact, no, I don't. I waffle a lot. But that's because I like talking about the subject, Spectrum games. It's what I really love doing. Not sure what video is going to follow next. I was looking at Chucky Egg 2. I was looking at Nemesis the Warlock. Nemesis doesn't load. I might have a look at Max Headroom as well. Anyway, I hope the rest of your weekend, even though it's a bit grotty outside where I am, is good, and that you all take care of yourselves and you have a good time. Once again, thank you ever so much for watching.